Hi, welcome back into my kitchen. Your cooking host today is going to be Doomsday Queen. Just kidding. Today we are going to be freeze drying some peaches and we're going to be canning some peaches. So I'm going to teach you some very simple processes of how to blanch your peaches, what I do to keep the coloring good. I don't know how well the coloring is going to be this time. I wanted to say a big thank you to my community. You guys are amazing. You guys were so supportive on the day that was my mom's birthday. Sadly, my dog took a turn for the worst on her birthday and I stayed up all night, and then he passed away on the 22nd. So it's been really rough. We're all grieving quite heavily, and it's really kind of hard for me to be in my kitchen because he loved to hang out in my kitchen with me. And during the time, well, we were processing things and my kids are sad. I had crates of peaches and now some are hitting the point of no return and we have to process everything today. So I'm gonna break this down as simple and easy for you guys. I'm gonna try to add in where you guys can see exactly how each thing looks so that blanching is easy, canning is easy, freeze drying is easy. All right, so first thing you're gonna do is I had to go through peaches that I know are starting to turn bad. You see that part right there? What I'm gonna do is I'm gonna just slice off the ick. This can be used for jam or you can give it to your chickens, however you would like to go about it. Next, I take some pliers. I didn't know so many people didn't know this trick. You shove your needle nose pliers in, you grab it, and then you pull. Very simple, very easy. Now, because this peach is already turning, what I'm going to do is where I just cut that bad spot off, I'm just gonna cut mine down in slices and save what I can out of this. Get these on the freeze dry trays, which look like this. I put down parchment paper. Some people like to use the silicone mats. I just don't own any. I've just been using parchment paper forever, but I just set them down over there. And then what I'm gonna do is take them down, get them in my cold freeze dryer so that their colors don't start turning. I know some people were asking about colors. If you're worried about colors, you can use citric acid. I don't use citric acid on my freeze dry stuff very often, or you can use that Stay Fresh. It keeps your vegetables from like turning brown. So this is just super simple. Yes, some of these have bruises on them, but it's not gonna hurt anything. All it's gonna do is make them a little bit sweeter because when they're ripening, their sugar goes straight up. So it just looks something like this, and I'm gonna go put those ones into the freeze dryer. Now that I have 2 trays filled, this is what they look like. This is the second tray that's gonna go in. I have 3 more trays. I'm gonna fill those up. We're gonna run those for about 22 hours in the freeze dryer. The next part of this process is gonna be blanching peaches because I wanna get the peaches blanched so that they can go into their jars. Which blanching, if you guys are new to canning, blanching is just removing the skin off of an item. And how we do that is very simple. First, you're gonna get a stock pot, you're gonna fill it up with water and get it to a boil. The next step is you're going to score all of your peaches. So scoring is a term used with canning. It's super simple. Take your knife and you're gonna just cut a little X along the side. I like to use just a blade like this, or you can use a bread knife with your tomatoes. It really cuts a nice smooth line so that you can remove these skins right off once they come out from being blanched. Like I said, I work really quickly in my kitchen. We've gotten 2 more trays done. We have 1 final tray for the freeze dryer, and then we're gonna start the blanching. All right, I got all my trays in. I'm just gonna shut this, hit continue. And then I made sure that my drain valve was closed off, but that's it. And now we gotta go can. All right, something that I do a little bit different than other people when it comes to freeze drying my peaches is a lot of fruit holds a lot of water. So what I do is I let it run its natural freeze time cycle, and then I increase it like an extra 12 hours, 12 to 20 hours. And then I pull them out and I start mylaring them. But now we got a lot of peaches to go. Here is a prime example of what my kitchen table looks like right now. It has a ton of peaches laying out. Why? Because one bad piece of fruit will make all the rest of your fruit go bad. And because we were grieving, we weren't paying attention. So we did end up throwing out about 10 peaches that were starting to turn these ones very quickly. So now I got a batch process. All of these peaches plus my tree outside should be ready in about 5 to 6 days. So we got a lot of busy time ahead of us. So let's get to blanching. All right, so part of the blanching process is you're going to submerge your scored peaches into boiling water for only about 1 to 2 minutes. You are not cooking your peaches. If you cook your peaches, they're gonna lose their firmness, they're gonna lose their shape, and they're gonna turn mushy in your jars. You're only doing it to get the skins to peel up. Then immediately they're gonna go into an ice bath just like this. I'm gonna add a little bit of cold water in here, but the hot peaches are gonna melt down my ice really quickly. So we're gonna create an assembly line. I'm gonna start my simple syrup. I'm gonna warm up my jars so that you can see how quickly this assembly line goes, because it is boom, boom, boom. If you do not want to lose the color of your peaches, a tip I like to tell people is use another bowl with cold water. I add lemon juice into it. So once I peel, they're in here cooling down, peel off their skins, I do not remove the pit. And then I'm going to place them in that cold bath or that other cold bowl of water with lemon juice to keep the coloring. So let's set up our assembly line and let's get this show rolling. All right, I'm gonna show you guys a little bit of a trick that is not conventional. Please don't judge me. I put my jars into the dishwasher so that they're nice and hot and they stay nice and hot on the steam cycle. But because I want to sanitize them, I'm going to throw in a couple of drops of dish soap in the dishwasher. I know somebody's going to come for me and they're going to be like, it's going to ruin your dishwasher. No, it's fine. It's fine. All right, you guys ready to see? Literally, boop, boop. Just like that. It's a little tiny gobstop right there on there. It's only like a drop like this big, okay? It's not anything big. All right, the next settings I'm gonna use is a normal setting, high temperature wash, and turn on the heat to dry so that the jars stay super hot. So as I am blanching, I can get all of my stuff into hot jars. Hope you guys like that trick. All right, I'm gonna teach you how to score your peaches. So these are what 2 scored peaches look like. They are just a crisscross on the top. What I'm gonna do is I'm gonna go through all my peaches that I've laid out on this counter. I'm gonna just give them a little score. I'm gonna do about 6 at a time in the boiling water and then move them as quickly as I can to right here into my ice bath. Start peeling, removing pits, break it down super easy. Now, as the water is starting to regain its boil, because obviously the peaches are colder than the water, just remember you're not cooking your peaches, you're only boiling them till the skin starts to fold at the crisscross, right where you scored, and then moving those over to your water bath immediately. You do not want to cook your peaches. All right, the next thing I'm going to start is my simple syrup, and I'm going to break that down for you. It's going to be 5 cups of water to 3 1/4 cup of sugar. I do a medium syrup, so you can go a little bit lighter. I think it's 2.5 cups to 5 cups for a lighter syrup, but I like a medium. So I've doubled my syrup recipe because I'm gonna do a semi-hot pack. The syrup's gonna be hot, so I'm just gonna start my stove, get it to about a medium heat. All I'm gonna do is get the water to dissolve the sugar. Because I'm doing a double one, I have about 10 cups of water in here, so I'm gonna do 6.5 cups of sugar. All right, now that I have my sugar inside my water, I'm gonna stir it so the sugar doesn't burn on the bottom while I create my syrup, and these are about ready to come out. So these are boiling right now, but you can see how this peel is peeling back. So you see how this peach is hot? You see how that skin is starting to peel off? It needs to go into the ice bath right now. Now that I have these peaches cooling, I don't wanna cut into them until they cool down. But now I'm just gonna be adding more peaches to here because we're gonna try to fill up all of our jars to go in the first session. So a quick tip for when you're canning your peaches, don't remove your pit yet. Don't use my plier trick right now, because while that pit's in, it's not causing any oxidization to the peaches. Once the skin is removed, that's when peaches start to oxidize. That's when the discoloration happens. And so I have a bowl over here, and I'm gonna be adding lemon juice to it. So a fun fact on how you can prevent your peaches from turning brown is by adding citric acid, citric juice, or food fresh. Sometimes I use food fresh. I prefer lemon juice. I just pour, I don't know, 3 to 4 tablespoons in the water, and it keeps my fruit really bright and vibrant as I am slicing it up and getting it stacked into its jars. All right, so after this peach is cooled down, you see how simple and easy the skins are removing. This is why blanching, it's a process, but it makes your work go really quick. because now you don't have to peel the peaches yourself. The skins slide right off just like this. And then this is gonna go into that bath with the lemon juice right behind me so it doesn't start losing any of its coloration. And then I just stick the skins in here. I feed them to my chickens. You can throw them in your compost. I don't know if there's anything neat you can do with peels. I just normally give them to my chickens. And then we're gonna get ready to start slicing and dicing. All right, so I already have one bowl that's completely stacked up and I am starting to have water flow out. So I'm gonna use my ice bath to keep my peaches from turning brown because I've already peeled some of those skins. So I'm just gonna add a little bit of lemon juice into there. I just wanna keep my peaches really bright and pink and beautiful. I'm getting my syrup nice and ready. All the sugar has now dissolved in the water, and so now we're ready to start canning. Remember, my jars are inside my dishwasher. They're still hot. I just lowered the temperature to my syrup so I can get ready to start ladling in my syrup over my sliced peaches. Now, you can do peaches in halves. You can do whole peaches. If you do whole peaches, you just remove doing the plier trick, pull out that pit and throw it in there. I like to dice mine up into nice little slices. So we're gonna get those into jars and then we're gonna start ladling in the hot syrup over the hot jars and get the water bath ready. All right, so I sliced my peaches. When they're attached, they're gonna come out. They're gonna look just like this. They're not overcooked. You can tell by the pit area where it's still bright pink. And I'm just gonna start placing these inside my jars. And then I'm gonna add a little bit of lemon juice once again, because I wanna keep the color. You can do whatever you like. If you wanna do the fresh preserve, that is totally possible. Fun fact, the only thing that changes the color of your fruit is oxidization. So in my hot jar, I have a little bit of the hot syrup in here. I'm gonna add just a little bit of lemon juice because I wanna keep this nice vibrant color. That's kind of my trick of how I've learned how to do it. Some people like to add citric acid or fresh fruit, any of those to your water while they're cooling. That works perfect too. I've done all those methods. I just like to add just a little bit. It doesn't mess with the flavor and I think it's perfect. And when I add my lemon juice, I'm only adding about 1/4 of a teaspoon, okay? Not very much because there's a ton of lemon juice inside their bath. It's just a little bit just to make sure that they stay nice and vibrant. Now, for me, I know on my wide mouth quarts, I can fit 3 peaches and then I had like 1 leftover slice on this side. So right now, I am working way slower speed because I am trying to break down these steps to record. So now I've just switched up from a hot pack to a cool pack, like it's like a medium pack, because I'm not moving fast enough in between camera shots and trying to do step by step just to be able to teach this a little bit better. So we're moving to a cool pack. So you can just cool down your syrup down to just a lukewarm, so you're not gonna shell shock or hot shock your jars. But I'm on my last jar before we're gonna start, and I'm gonna teach you guys how I reheat up my jars so that they don't get shocked when I'm doing a cold pack. The way I do it's just a little bit different. You can place your cold jars inside your water bath and increase the heat. Mine, because I have my big rack that hangs above, I'll place them there, get them so that they're like heated up, and then I lower them in as the boiling water happens. But I'll record that so you guys can see, but I'm trying to move as fast as I can. It's like a never-ending assembly line right now, and this is only the first batch going in. I have 6 jars. This is my 6th jar filled, but I know I have about 3 more batches for tonight. That skin's not coming off very well. So hopefully I can get these done relatively close to 2 a.m., 3 a.m. Rule number 1, if you're new to canning, don't start a project at all after 7 p.m. You're gonna be canning until the middle of the night. Just so we're all clear, you will be canning till the middle of the night. Another pro tip when you are canning peaches, lay a beach towel or just like a bathroom towel on the ground below you, because peaches have a lot of juice. It starts to come over. You're moving around a lot of water when you're blanching them. So you're gonna get water and juice everywhere. So it will help your cleanup time by having a towel on the ground. All right, so right now I am getting ready to add in all my syrup. Some of these I have already added my syrup. I add my syrup to about the main rim, and then I'm gonna debubble it. And if I need to add a little bit more to bring it to a 1/2 inch headspace, I will, and I'll show you guys how to do that. All right, so now that I have my peaches in, I'm gonna give them about a 1/2 inch headspace, but right now I'm gonna be working out all of the bubbles. Just gonna go around, poke, just getting the big bubbles in, and then just kind of pack it down in there so all the peaches are down. I know I have about a 1/2 inch of headspace once I press down those peaches into their container. Now, fun fact, when I do make like my whiskey peaches, a cinnamon spice, vanilla, cinnamon, when I start adding little concoctions to my peaches, I don't use lemon juice with them because I know that they're gonna turn like a dark pink color, but these ones, they do have a little bit of lemon juice inside. And now let's get to cleaning our rims. So tip number 1, if you don't want your jars to have any like cloudy residue everywhere on them and be kind of like icky, sticky, you still gotta rinse your jars after you can them because they will get sticky. But you wanna get rid of that hard water stains and residue that's left on top of your jars. This is what you do. Just a little bit of water. This is just warm, semi-warm water. I know it's not gonna shock these jars because the syrup's still warm. It's not like a hot, so I'm not gonna do like a full-on hot bath. I'm gonna get them in, start raising the temperature and get them ready to go in without any shock to those jars. All right, you can see a little bit of the lemon juice up on the top that I just added in on this one. Now I'm gonna clean my rims with vinegar so that they're nice and clean so we can get a good seal. Now, one thing I've noticed is these 2 jars are a little bit overfilled. So I'm gonna incorporate their lemon juice into them, and then I'm just gonna spoon off a little bit or take 1 or 2 peaches out so that I don't get any like major siphoning inside the jar. We need that headspace so that there is a way for the air to escape while the seal is happening. All right, next we're gonna set all of our lids on top of our jars, and then we're gonna twist on our rings to only finger tight. All right, so when you're twisting on your rims, like I said, finger tight, this is kind of a trick I like to do. I just pinch it. You don't want your lids too tight where air cannot escape while it's trying to form the seal. So an easy way I like to test it is I've now twisted on all my lids. Watch. See? It's on there. It's tight. But I can literally open it with my thumb. You don't want it to have to need a grip to get open. All right, so what I did was place my normal room temperature jars into some warm water, not anything hot, but as I turned up the temperature, now the temperature inside this pot is with the steam is heating the jar, so there's not gonna be any shocking. I'm gonna get ready to lower these in because we are getting closer to a boil. And now I have hot water and hot jars, they're ready to go. All right, now that I lowered my jars in, it's starting to get ready to start boiling right now. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna add my lid on it. Once it gets to a boil, I'm gonna start my time. Pints would be 30 minutes, and then I would adjust my time for my altitude, but I am doing quarts, so I know it's about 30 minutes for just quarts, and then I'm gonna increase my time by 15 minutes, so I know I'm gonna be well over about 45 minutes, and we are very, very close to a boil, so that time is gonna start soon. All right, it's 11:04 p.m., and I pretty much called it that I'm gonna be canning until about 3 a.m. So, timer just went off. I'm getting ready to pull my hot jars out. Now, little trick of the trade, lay a towel down on your countertops. Understand most of your countertops are made out of stone, those kind of things. That cold temperature can cold shock your jars. So I lay a towel down, I put down a rack, like a cooling rack, and then I put my towels over the top of it. And now I'm gonna get ready to pull my jars. All right, I'm gonna get ready to lower my temperature down just a little bit. I'm gonna bring these hot jars over, place them on my cooling rack. As you can tell, the jars are piping hot right now, and so I'm just gonna let these cool. I'm gonna put a towel over the top of them and let them rest overnight. Thank you so much for hanging out with me tonight. I really appreciate it. It's been a hard week and you guys have been nothing but kind in the comments, and it means a lot. And I hope that this helps you gain the confidence to water bath can your own peaches. Do it earlier in the afternoon or in the morning, because if you're doing a large batch like what I'm doing, I still have a ton on my table. I have all of these over here. I'm gonna be up for quite a bit, but because I was running around like a crazy mom, busy today, I'm now stuck canning in the middle of the night. So thank you so much for hanging out. I hope you guys enjoyed this and that it broke it down into simple steps so you can feel a lot more confident with your canning so that you can start doing it at home. And as always, stay aware, stay prepared, and always have your head on a swivel. Thank you so much. I'll catch you on the next one.